Hi friends, welcome back. I am Emily and this is the Rambling Yarn podcast. This is episode 5. You can find me on Instagram at EML_fiberarts, and that's where I'm most active. I have a Ravelry, probably around the same name. I am very rarely on it, but if you want to find me, I'm there too. Welcome back. If you've been following for a little while, I'm so happy that you are here. And if you're new, I'm really happy that you found me. And thank you. So it's been a little while. I was really hoping to have this episode out and filmed and all of that jazz like a little while ago, but October and September, but mostly October, kind of threw a weird curveball at us and life got a little crazy. But it's 2020, right? So should I have expected that? Probably. As of now, it is November 8th. So yes. Tea break. I am drinking, I think it's by Celestial Seasonings. It's like an apple cinnamon. It's fall. I wanted something fall, and I don't currently have apple cider in my house, which is a shame. So cinnamon, apple, tea, in my little fox mug. Shall we dive in, I guess? I feel like I have stories to go on for a while, but we'll get there. So, elephant in the room. She's done! You guys. So this is the Sanguine sweater by Morgan of Morthunder. Finally, it's done. This is technically a sweater for my husband, who hasn't worn it yet because someone else has been wearing it a lot. It is a colorwork pattern, obviously. It has short rows on the back of the neck, so there's actually front and the back. And I like that because the other sweater that I have done, the only other sweater that I've done, was the flax sweater by Tin Can Knits, which is a wonderful pattern, and I wear that one all the time. But there are no short rows. So whether or not there's a designated front or back to the sweater, I still can't tell because it's all even all the way around. So I guess it doesn't really matter. This is not made out of any particularly special yarn. It's just some odds and ends from the Hot Blobs, which is a store that I like, but currently am not too thrilled with. If you are on Instagram and part of the fiber and indie dyer community at all, or following, then you probably would have seen there is a shop in particular. I think it's the Lemonade Shop. If you go on there and you search for her, she is an indie dyer. She dyes beautiful yarn, and she has a couple of colorways that you can find throughout Etsy and other indie dyer shops, but as far as we can tell, she's kind of the first one who brought the idea and put it on yarn, where you have a solid color like black or white, and then there's a little patch in the hank that is just all rainbows, and it's beautiful. So there's that, but she also has some very specific colorways, and Hobby Lobby has decided to, well, at first it was wonderful. They were offering more luxury yarns in hanks, and they looked, you know, like budget indie dyed yarns. So that was great. And then we realized they are literally plagiarizing the colorways, like speckle for speckle, and it is too uncanny to be coincidental. So I haven't been to Hobby Lobby since we moved and long before that. Will I be going back? I can't say. I don't know. But right now, I'm not too thrilled. Because that's not nice. Stealing's not nice, guys. All that aside, they do make pretty colors of just regular old acrylic yarn. So that's what this is. And I like it. I probably will not be able to keep this thing on the whole time because it is color work. So there's floats on floats. They're floating the boat right now. So it's very squishy but very warm, and acrylic, so plastic. There's not much breathing going on here. So we'll see. We'll see just how far I can get with this. So let's see. So that's one finished object that I have. I don't have a whole lot because it's just been a little crazy. But I think the last time that we talked, I was working on the Gazebra socks, and they were almost done, and now they are done, and I adore them. I love them so much, and I don't know what I love more, actually. I don't know if I love the pattern more or the yarn that I decided to use for this particular pattern. Let's see if I can get the cat hair off of this. I'm not in the room that I would like to be filming this in right now because everybody in my house is home and it's barely afternoon, so my children are playing in the room that usually I would be filming this, I guess, but I am flexible. So this loveliness right here. This is called Kick Drum by Fiber for the People. And it's like, I think it's a dark blue, but it's like borderline black with all of these just absolutely gorgeous colors worked into there. And then the top is Mesa, which is also by Fiber for the People. And it is also probably one of my favorites. And look at that, the lace work. This is the first time that I've ever done lace work ever. Trying to think if I did cables, not the same. Once in a hat that I gave to somebody as a gift years and years ago. Totally did that on the fly. I don't know if I did that right. So this is the next most complicated thing I guess I've done. And I was a little scared. I wasn't sure what to think at first, but I'm really happy that I took the plunge because it was not as scary as I thought it was going to be, and I actually found it weirdly meditative, so much so that on the, I think it was this one, on the second sock, when you get down to right before, like about an inch or so before you start the heel flap, the pattern calls to only do the lace work on the front and not the back so that you don't have holes on that top part where your heel is, or your ankle, the back of your ankle, the skinny part, like your Achilles heel. Sure, your Achilles heel. The skinny part of your ankle. Um, to keep it more solid. And I was enjoying myself so much and just totally in the zone and had gotten the hang of the lace work pattern. It comes with a chart that I totally did like 16 or 18 rows or something like that with the lace work back and front instead of just front. And when I realized that, I actually was not bummed that I had to rip all of that out and do it all over again, because it flew by. The yarn is Merino nylon. Don't quote me, but to the best of my ability, I think it's 75/25 Merino nylon. And it's a 2-ply, so it's got a nice little twist, and it is so soft and it is so stretchy. And I look forward to using this again for socks, for sure. Or possibly a different object besides socks. I don't know. It would work for anything, but if you are looking for a sock yarn, for the People's Merino Nylon 2-ply twist is highly recommended by myself. I adored it. So those are my finished. Oh wait, I do have one more finished object. I think these may have also been partially shown. These are not terribly exciting, but they are very lovely and squishy. These are just ribbed socks. I just did just a garter stitch. Well, garter, I don't know, not garter. It's just all knit back and forth, back and forth. So it's very squishy. And I did let's see if I can get it to show up. I did a square heel turn, which actually, when you fold it like this, there you go. So you can see it is a square. It's got edges, it's got corners. And when you just hold it up, it kind of looks like when you've done a fish lips kiss or a short row heel of some sort, and it makes that shape. I don't think this one does it. Now I'm wondering if all sock heels make that shape, but they don't. And I've actually been incorporating this kind of square heel turn into just my plain old socks. I feel like it hugs your heel, the bottom of your heel, more. I could be wrong, but for now, this is what I'm doing. And it's just a simple ribbed, it's a 3x1 ribbed sock. The yarn is Chroma by Knit Picks. And when I originally looked at these online, because they were having a sale, and I decided that I was going to finish up my year of socks by doubling them up as Christmas gifts, because if I'm going to attempt to knit these socks anyways, they might as well be gifts, because usually I knit for the people in my family. So why not kind of kill two birds with one stone and just make them socks if I'm going to make them anyways. So Knit Picks was having a sale on yarn. I have actually never bought anything from Knit Picks before. And when I saw this, so on camera, it looks like a single ply, which I do love. Like, I love working with single ply. I don't do it very often. Um, because I feel like I just don't do, I guess you could do a lot of hats and stuff, but it didn't look like this on the website. So I was a little surprised when I opened up the box and saw this. I was like, oh no, is this gonna work for socks? But it says it's 70% superwash wool. What kind of wool? I don't know. And 30% nylon. So I guess this is just an experiment in how well chroma, which is supposedly finger weight, but it's like, it's kind of, I would say, between fingering and sport. I used a US size 2, which is well, I'll tell you what it is. It's a 2.75. Yes, a 2.75 millimeter needle. And yeah, I don't think, I like the way the fabric came out. I don't think that I would have used size 1. So these, I guess, technically would have been my September socks. So these lovely, squishy, super stretchy, ribbed socks, and they are very soft. Hopefully they don't disintegrate. I don't know. They will be going to a family member for Christmas. One way or another, they'll get there. Because who knows what traveling and holidays are going to look like this year. Am I right, guys? Anyways, so that was my other finished object. Socks, lots of socks. There's, let's see, half finished objects. I just feel like I'm really annoyed because when it's a half finished object, if it's a pair of socks, it's technically still a whip because yours, or is it not? I guess half of it. I don't know. I hate drawing the line between whips and half finished objects. Hose. HFOs. Ooh. So sorry. So in keeping with the making socks for people that aren't me, these would be the October socks. And I've decided that I'm gonna finish the year out with ribbed socks. But I figured I would kind of circle back. I think in March I did the Simple Skip Socks by Adrienne. So I grabbed that pattern again and we started working with this. So here's the finished one. So it's got that little kind of twisted stitch definition here in the ribbing. And this one, let's see, I did an Eye of Partridge heel, which I find to be very fun when you are using a variegated yarn. And with this one, I did not do the box heel turn. I actually incorporated the heel that is used in the Gazebra sock pattern, which by the way is by Charlotte Bory. I will put her Instagram name on the screen for you guys. In this one, it actually has, so in that one, it's not a curve and it's not like squared off. It's actually, it's almost like a V. I don't know, you can kind of see it. So it definitely So this will be interesting. For this, I am using Hawthorne, which is supposedly a fingering weight yarn, but Knit lied to me. It is not. It's definitely more sport weight. This is, and this colorway is called Mississippi. I had no idea how this was gonna work up. So if you have been eyeing this or one, there was a colorway that was, the shades were just a little different, but the placement of color was basically the same. If you are wondering how that works up, well, if you're doing a 64 stitch sock, this is it. So I knit this first one on size 1 needles because I read fingering weight. I could tell by the feel that it wasn't fingering weight, but I did the size 1s anyways. Did it come out fine? Yeah, it's okay. Over the arch of the foot, it is a little, you gotta really shimmy to get it over that little, the arch there. And will it work? It will. But personally, I wasn't like super happy with it. And of course, I decided to do something different after the fact of finishing this one rather than ripping it out and just changing it right then and there, which was stupid. So now I am actually with the second one, which, by the way, for the first time, this has happened to me. I don't really understand. This was all caked. It was all caked, and believe it or not, I was not pulling from the center. I don't really know what's happened. That's a partial lie. I kind of know why this is happening, because my cats weirdly have been searching for this yarn, and it doesn't matter where I hide it or put it away, in a bag, in a box, on a shelf. Almost every single morning I wake up, come out of my bedroom, and find this part of the sock in my hallway with it trailed down the stairs and through my living room to eventually end at the cake. I don't understand how they do this. Cats are ridiculous and somehow magical. Those mischievous, fluffy butts. So at some point I need to go through all of that yarn barf, and I'm not looking forward to it, but it needs to be done, and probably can't wait too much longer before really becoming much more of a knotted mess. So all that to say, with the second sock, I switched over to size 2s. You can see that it has changed the color placement, how it's been displaced. So instead of like little stripes, they are thicker and they're going to be kind of spirally. I like them both, so I'm not upset about that. I think that either way the color is really cool, and I like with, I don't know, they're still kind of micro stripey, but you can see the angle that it's all swirling around. And yeah, the fit's gonna be much better, much easier to get on a foot. I feel like even with blocking, the other one just wasn't gonna stretch much. The fabric was way too tight, and blocking just wasn't gonna help that poor thing. So, but it is really amazing gauge is a thing, guys. And just the difference that a needle size makes in your yarn. It's crazy. It's amazing. So this is why consistency is key. This one will be ripped out at the end of the year. I'll take my silly picture with all of my socks if I ever get there and just redo the sock with a size 2 needle. So yeah, those were the Adrienne Coos Simple Skip socks in Hawthorne. Sport weight, guys. It's not fingering. It's sport. It's sport. So I guess those are my half finished objects. What else do I have? I gotta take this sweater off. That's better. I was getting a little sweaty. Whew. So I am still plugging away at this shawl. I'm so sorry, Mom. It's getting there. I have been keeping it in the car for a good car project, because the pattern repeat. I don't have a pattern. I've made it up. Someone else has probably done something similar, but I don't know. I'm just going with it. So it's getting there. It is getting long. It's not quite... I guess if you wanted just a tiny little guy, but I need to add at least another skein and a half to this. I guess if you wanted just like a small, like little hipster shawl, wrap, scarf, definitely not shawl, scarf. Like, it would pass, but I need a little bit bigger. But it's coming along. It's getting there. It's just cotton yarn. It's very soft. And the colors make me happy. This was supposed to be done a while ago. I didn't want to talk about it. It'll be done someday. I started making, because I have missed crocheting, so I started making my youngest son a blanket. Before my firstborn came along, like long before my husband and I were married, I actually made a really big, like rainbowy striped blanket out of cotton yarn, and it is one of he's not attached to blankets or stuffed animals. He's just never been interested, but over the past year he has really developed a fondness for that blanket that I had actually made for friends of ours who were pregnant at the time. And with every row that I did and every color that I finished, I also developed quite a fondness for it. And when it came time, I could not part with it. So I have kept it all of these years. And now my oldest has decided that it is his blanket. So it's his blanket. But my youngest, who I did make a blanket for when he was a baby, but it was kind of just like a little tiny thing, like a little lovey for them to carry around, or just to lay over a car seat and not have them totally swimming and enveloped in a big blanket. It's a little small now, and when he goes to bed, he wants to be, covered by his blanket. So I was just going through just kind of the random bits of yarn that you acquire over the years for no particular reason, or you had a reason but don't remember what it was. So I started this. Again, no pattern. It just is what it is. So it's got a little bit of solid, a little bit of texture. A little bit of speckles. I am thinking this is the problem when you're just kind of winging it. I will probably finish up this last like granny square section and then throw on another one of these just solid guys. See where that takes me. I don't think I have any more of this, so I may just have to go back because I know I have more of this green. I don't really feel like ripping it out, and it's for my 2.5-year-old who will never know the difference. So I will either put a ridiculous amount of border around everything until it is the size that I want it to be, or I will finish up the last green stripe on top and then go back and add length on the bottom and just kind of keep making it longer with that green until I am satisfied, and then we'll figure out the border later. But that's what I got so far. It's not a lot, and this was very mindless. It's just worsted weight acrylic yarn. I think I used a 6.5mm crochet hook, which I think is a K. I think it's a K. It's a J or a K. I'm not sure. It's green and from Susan Bates, if that helps anybody who's wondering. But I'm pretty sure it's a K. 6.5mm either way. So, October, guys. This has just been an interesting month. So I'm just gonna kind of chit chat a little bit just about life. So if you were just here for the fibery stuff, well, I mean, there's a little bit still to come, but now it's gonna be just kind of more life rambly. So halfway through the month, I was really looking forward to it. I had a birthday, guys! Yay! So I am now officially in the last year of my 20s, which is a little weird when I think about it. So that was good. It was good. Everybody was home and the weather was beautiful. A little weird though, because our yard is currently being ripped apart by a large excavator and crew of like soil scientists and stuff, because our house back in the day when it was built, and the garage that apparently used to be somewhere over there, was painted with lead paint that seeped into the soil. So the Coast Guard said, ew, no, you can't live like that. And so they've been digging up the dirt out a certain amount of feet around all of the structures and down a certain, it's not even everywhere, so I'm not really sure. There's been these people walking around with like, they look like speed guns, and but they're not, obviously, because dirt doesn't speed. But they're taking measurements of something, whether it's still like looking for lead or I'm not a dirt person. I don't know what I'm talking about. But there have been people outside our house. My boys are really loving the excavator, just like roaming around doing its thing. So that was a little weird. They're still here. I mean, they're not here, but they're still here. I don't know how long they'll be here, but I kind of miss having our yard, especially this week. It's supposed to be super beautiful and sunny, and we can't be out there because there's heavy machinery and huge dump trucks coming in and putting down dumpsters in our driveway for all the dirt, and fences up everywhere and random people that I don't know, and it's weird. So, all that to say, it was my birthday. My brother got me this lovely project bag. Guys, look. Save the bees. It's huge. It's got a lovely little leather. How's that for alliteration? A leather handle. Drawstring top. It's very roomy. The lovely kind of honey colored contrast fabric on the inside. And a boxed bottom. And I love bees. I am all about the bees, all about planting the flowers for the bees. So this was really very sweet, and I'm very thankful. He found it on Etsy by Twisted Yarn and Fiber, who does bags and notions. Her name is Wanda. I have her other card here. Wanda Fitzgerald, in case anybody is interested. I know you can find her on Instagram. I think it's just Twisted Yarn and Fiber is her page. And she has a lot of good stuff on there. And she sent little stitch markers. I got some detachable ones and one, let me take this one in particular. This cute little one. Little sheep. So that's fun. I'm very excited about that. So part of what made the day a little bit weird was a day or two before I found out that my maternal grandmother passed away, which is heartbreaking but not unexpected. So we've been dealing with that. But for me, it kind of threw me off a little bit because I believe I've mentioned her on the podcast before. But she is the woman who taught me how to knit. She's had her services and everything. So that's all done, and we're still, we're still sad. We're going to be sad for a while because it was a beautiful life, and now we no longer have it here. But there are some things that have been given a home in my house that came from her. The woman is the reason I know how to knit. And on top of that, she knit so many sweaters for her family. And so going through her things, they discovered basically enough sweaters to outfit all of her adult grandchildren, which is all of her grandchildren. We are all adults now. So I am now also the owner of yet another wonderful hand knit sweater. With this pretty crazy cable design. She mostly also worked in acrylic when it came to her sweaters and blankets and stuff like that. But this one is actually, it's wool. It is a very hardy, scratchy, woolly wool, and which I am a fan of. It may be a little itchy, but that's okay. It's just the way the fiber is. It's natural and it's fine. It doesn't bother my skin. The texture doesn't, and it doesn't cause me to break out in any rashes or anything. So I am very happy to have that. And because out of her children and grandchildren, it would appear that I am really one of the only ones who is super enthusiastic about knitting and crocheting. I have aunts and a cousin who knit and crochet, but not exactly to the crazy extent that I have gone so far. So I was given some pretty cool vintage patterns in my choice of whatever else she may have. So I just wanted to show you guys some of these cool things. So I cannot find, I was looking for it, but I was trying to find a publication date, but I don't see, I haven't been able to see any, but here is the peak of fashion in hats. Look at this, guys. This is a revised edition, volume 74, 50 cents. There's a lot of stuff in here. Will I make them? I'll probably make some of them. Like, that's a great basic beanie, guys. This one, probably not. Not gonna lie. Of course I had to get this. Easy to make Doreen 2 needle socks, 25 cents, volume 106. So just some classic vintage socks. Copyright 1954. The other one's probably similar. This just has a bunch of vintage baby. It's like baby to 4 years old. I haven't really made much in the way of baby fashion. Or toddler fashion. I don't know why. I mean, they're so small. It's not like it would take long. Well, I guess the one sweater that I did make, by the time I was about to put the second arm on, my oldest was already too big for the whole thing, so. And then gloves, mittens, and accessories. Fashions in wool. Let's see, volume 82, 40 cents. Does this have a... Yep, copyright 1956. This one makes me laugh. And yeah, there are some really great mitten patterns in here. And gloves, which I've never made gloves. So I might give that a try, actually. Knitting separate fingers and not just a thumb. My brain can't really wrap its head around that, so we'll give this a try, but I thought this was really funny. So apparently accessories also includes dog sweaters. So, yeah, I actually think, oh yeah, yep, there's another one. But apparently you can only have a dog sweater if you are a small dog. We'll see. Ooh, this looks fun. Here's more publications, but look, this lady has like a lovely like wool pencil skirt and little blazer. How adorable. But yeah, I thought that was, I don't know, like these are special. I may never make anything from these, although I have a feeling I probably will make a couple of socks and mittens from these patterns. But they are special in that they're vintage, first of all, which is really cool, but also, you know, they belonged to the lady who gave me the ability to make these crazy things. So I'll keep you updated on whether or not I make one of those dog sweaters. Oh, this was also hers. Fun fact, I do love foxes. I always have. But her maiden name was Fox. So my family has an affinity for collecting fox paraphernalia. I don't have a whole lot. She also, when she got married, became a Frost. So there's lots of snowmen in their house as well. Foxes and snowmen. And on that note, thanks for sticking with me. I hope you enjoy this video. If you like the content that I put out, however few and far between that actually is, feel free to like, subscribe, hit the notifications button. Promise those probably won't be bothering you too often, but when you want to know, it's there. And I hope that you enjoy the rest of the fall that we have as we move our way into winter and the start of holiday seasons. So grab your closest project and be happy. Thanks, guys.